I'm trying to figure out what is the end game for a lot of these right-leaning conservatives, because it's like on one hand it's like they want one thing, and then on the other hand they want another thing. And again, the quote that comes to mind from KG: they don't want to save the country, they just want to be celebrities. And this tweet that we're going to go over by Patrick Bet David is the perfect example of that. So this is coming off of the heels of everything going on with Jimmy Kimmel. By the time this video goes up, I'm not sure where that situation will be at. They'll still be talking about it, or they'll be moving on to the next topic of discussion. But Patrick Bet David put up this tweet, and it's throwing people off quite a bit. Even when I was looking in the comment section, people was like kind of thrown off by it. But he says, "Hey, at Jimmy Kimmel, I watched your show last night and appreciate you addressing the audience." Now, mind you, they're not supposed to be watching Jimmy Kimmel. Like, he was one of them people, I think, that, like the rest of them, wanted Jimmy off the air because of what he said. Again, I looked at what he said, and of course they blew it out of proportion. So much, in fact, that when he came back, I think he had broke records as far as like returning, even though his viewership was not seen by every market because of the FCC, but it still did very high numbers. He says, "Here's a challenge to you and Rob Iger." Now, if y'all don't know who Rob Iger is, or Bob Iger, he is the CEO of Disney. He says, "Why not invite at Mrs. Erika Kirk, who of course we all know is Charlie Kirk's wife or widow, on the show to show respect to her and the family." Now, why would you want to have Erika Kirk on there when allegedly the reason why Jimmy Kimmel got put on ice for a little bit was because of what y'all allegedly believe he said about her husband? I don't get it. Like, that's very strange behavior, or a strange request to make. But like I said, they just want people to come on there in order to build them up in some sort of way. Like, again, like KG says, they don't want to save the country, they just want to be celebrities. This is really a celebrity act. And when I looked at that memorial, I'm still thrown off. Well, I didn't look at it, but looked at clips of it. I was still thrown off by why they had her come out there with pyrotechnics like this was a WWE entrance from the 90s. Like, it really threw me off seeing that. But the usual suspects or the stands over there, they not going to address that. They just going to say something or other that makes no sense whatsoever. I just thought that was very strange to me that they had her come out to pyrotechnics and music like she was about to come to the ring to have a match. That's just how I felt about it. He says, "And moving forward, consider inviting more conservatives on your show." I think that line right there really told it all. So we've already gotten through the niceties in the first part, but now he's going into the part where with the angle he really wants to go with. He said, and moving forward, consider bringing more conservatives on your show. Why would he do that? You do know that Jimmy Kimmel's show is a late night show. They basically, a lot of the times, interview a lot of celebrities. Matt, what would a late night talk show that does basically mainly entertainment, what would that show look like if they brought on a whole bunch of conservatives that are not in entertainment? Like, what would that look? Let's put it in. You know what? Let me read through the lines a little bit more. Patrick Bet David wants to be a guest on the show. Let's just put all the cards on the table. Patrick Bet David wants to be on the show. That's what it really is. And furthermore, like, what would that look like? Again, this is entertainment. What do you do in entertainment that would be of value? That y'all already said that the ratings for the show was low. You already said that the man wasn't funny. Why would you try to go onto a low rated or an unfunny show by your standards or by what you say? So that means that even though this show has quote unquote low ratings like you claim, apparently the ratings aren't that low because they're higher than yours. And two, he can't be that damn unfunny. You want to be on the show next to this unfunny man that has somehow aggrieved you. Like, that's so weird. I keep telling y'all, they say one thing and you sit back and let them talk long enough, and then they say something else. That's the same thing when you have these fools out here talking about they have black fatigue, but they'll say that in one breath, and then in the next breath, they can't wait to be around us to try to antagonize us. Look at what they did at Tennessee State University. So that's very weird behavior coming from Patrick Bet-David, but I'm not surprised, because he's a microcosm of that whole group over there. Because I bet you a lot of them feel the same way. It's just that he felt confident enough to actually come right out and say it. But it's still very weird behavior on his part to say, oh, moving forward, can you bring more conservatives onto your show? What would that look like? I'm curious. I'm very curious. What would that look like? What would that show turn into? That's not even his show. And the thing is, it's not like there aren't political based shows out there that you can go on, or unless you're trying to say that you can't get a reach with them. That's another thing. Again, you got to read and comb between these lines. I believe Patrick Bet-David believes he can't go very far on the regular conservative based shows, but he feels he can get far by being on Jimmy Kimmel, a person that they said had low ratings. If they have low ratings, how would that help your plight? You wouldn't be seen. And then on top of that, typically, the people on that show, unless they're breaking into the industry and they got some buzz around them, that's the only type of people that's going to come on there. Not some damn here today, gone tomorrow type of conservative, or anybody who's politically, unless they're like a celebrity in their own right. That's about it. But Patrick Bet-David, who are you? If this is your campaign to try to get on the show, who the hell are you? Because it's not like they're not going to do any background checks on you before they bring you on. So why? Then he says 1 for 1. Then he ends it off with, your show will see ratings it's never seen before within 30 to 90 days. Thoughts? Yeah, those ratings will probably tank. Again, these are the same people that was saying that Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air briefly because the ratings were low. So why would you want to go on a show that has low ratings? And what makes you think that bringing more conservatives on is going to somehow boost these alleged low ratings? Talk about someone who thinks very highly of himself or themselves. This is a joke. I cannot take Patrick Bet-David or many of those fools over there seriously whatsoever. You're going to say that I'm glad Jimmy's gone. Disney is woke. The FCC did the right thing and all this, that, and the third, only to come right back after the fact and said Jimmy should have Erika Kirk on the show, and then further going forward, have more conservatives on the show, and you will see that your ratings will change in 1 to 3 months. That's why I can't, like I said, I cannot take these conservatives seriously. I really can't. And I definitely not Patrick Bet-David, because wasn't he caught up in some controversy a few months ago? I think I did a video about him. I don't know if it was earlier this year or sometime last year, because this might be the second time I've talked about him in a video that was solely just on him. But yeah, and you know what? I'm so glad that some people had some sense in his comments in the threads that was cooking him for this post, because what does that goes against your principles, if you have any, which to me it sounds like he doesn't. He's just looking to see where he can get a leg up in this industry, much like the rest of them. Let's be honest here. A lot of these people who are these shills, and this can go for both sides, whether it's the Republicans or the Democrats, a lot of them are shilling so hard, not because they care about the constituents on either side of their party, not because they want the betterment for their party, but they're trying to position and prop themselves in a position to be in the spotlight. They want to be the next celebrity. They want to be the next famous person or the next person that they make a name out of. They saw what happened with Charlie Kirk, and they were starting to see that, oh snap, he might actually transcend this. Let me see if I can get where I can get out of this and see if I can get to where he's at. Why do you think those two fools went to Tennessee State University? They did not go there for no damn debate. They went there to try to be a Charlie Kirk clone, and it failed. And I had posted up on Threads. I said, why didn't Charlie Kirk go to HBCUs? And then what happened a day or two later? What happened at TSU? Because the same thing probably would have happened with him. But really, at the end of the day, at its core, KG, you hit it out the park with that quote, with that saying right there. Because I'm seeing it now. I think I've seen it before, but I definitely see it right now more than ever. These individuals want to be famous. They're not acting in support or in the vein of their party. They are doing whatever it is that they can in order to get themselves a leg up, and everyone else can just fend for themselves. It's literally, that's why they say politics is a dirty game. If you're going to come in there, you want to be nice, politics is definitely not the game for you. You have to be cutthroat to do stuff, to be in politics. And this right here is showing just that. But that's all I have for y'all today on this topic. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments, and I will talk to you in the next one.